Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Lust Podcast Show, the show that is rated R for real and not PG for playing games. I am one of your hosts, the Boss Lady.
And I'm the D.O.C.
Continue to join us for our weekly conversations about life, culture, and everything else. As we always like to say, get to know us, get to what? Love us. This episode is sponsored by Cigar Junkies as well as CJS Educational Services. So don't forget to go out there and get your Cigar Junkie merch. Before we jump into this episode, definitely have to just start by saying, how you been doing? What's been going on? All that.
Been doing great, man. No complaints. No complaints. Staying out the way.
You kill me with the staying out the way.
Yeah, staying out the way, stacking my paper. That's about it, man. That's about it.
Yeah, I would say ditto. I'm happy that the weather's about to break. Summertime is coming. I think just anticipating what to do, activities, events. So I'm blessed. I have no complaints. So with that being said, today we're going to do a little bit different. Today we're giving y'all a 3-course meal all in one. We're going to give y'all the motherfucking appetizers, the entrees, the dessert all in one. So with that being said, we just going to jump right into it. And how can we not start with what's been like, this shit been so juicy. You know what I'm talking about, Diddy.
It's the trending. It's the
trending topic.
Number one trending topic.
And I'm just going to start right off with a question, D.O.C. Do you think Diddy was grooming Cassie? Do you think he was grooming her from the beginning when he first laid eyes on her?
I think he was grooming her. He met the girl when she was, 19, 20, something like that. I think, wasn't in his mid-30s or something like that. So, yeah, man, he was grooming her, man. I mean, what else was he doing? I mean, he was grooming her.
Now, do you think at his age of being in his 30s or whatever, do you think that was just too old to be pursuing a woman that's 19?
Yeah, man. I mean, literally, she didn't even know what to do with her body yet. And so he's grooming her because she's fresh. She's probably was a virgin of very few sex partners. Yeah. And then mainly he can control her when they're young.
And then I'll tell you this. I'm going to take a scientific fact. You know I'm a nerd. So I'm going to take the scientific approach. At 19, that is like our own daughter is that age. And at 19, you know as well as I know, the brain is not that mature. You are not that mature in the head at 19 to make certain decisions.
Not the game that a motherfucker 35-year-old, 37-year-old nigga.
Yeah, nah, that's way too advanced.
And a nigga with money.
On that part.
So
on that part.
No, man. I think he it's like with any predator. They pick out the weakest nigga in the pack.
They see.
And they find the weakest zebra, the weakest antelope, and they pounce. The lion pounces on, and that's what he did. I hate to say it, but that's what he saw in Cassie.
I'm going to say Cassie.
Yeah, in Cassie. And because I guarantee you, he's not like that with no other woman besides her. Because she's the only one that would let him pull that with her.
Well, let me play devil's advocate.
Hold on. You know, we called it on the show. We said he would be indicted.
Yeah.
So he's going through the trial right now. That's what people are talking about.
We did.
A lot of juicy details are coming out.
Play by play.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna even lie. No, I was just gonna say that I do believe that he was grooming her. I do believe that with the older man, younger girl dynamics, even if it's just a couple of years, you always have a dynamic of the older person grooming. Well, let's not say grooming, because when you say grooming, that stipulates a lot. But you do have older people that date younger people, and they have a very well influence on them. They're able to influence them. So I do think there was some influence there. But this is the thing. Hold on. I just want to pause for a second. I don't want anybody to get mad at me, especially women, for what I'm about to say. But yes, do I think he was grooming her? She was young and all that. Yes, but at the same time, have anybody pause to think maybe she really actually liked the freaky stuff. Maybe she was just into the freaky stuff as much as he was in freaky.
I think you're talking about two different things. You're talking about grooming, and now you're talking about the
No, I am switching to the sexual thing now, but because I already said I thought he was grooming her. So
this is what I want to say. No, it's not that. I think it's two sides to it. I think with the grooming thing is that people making it seem is that she's a passive victim and that he just got her. He just mind control. When in actuality, we know it because we had the girls in our school. They are girls that go after and make themselves available for the older guys.
Yeah, that's true.
So it goes both ways. So you got the 19, 20-year-old looking for the older guy.
That is true.
Just for the older guy and freaking out. So it's almost like a mutual match.
Some women want to be grown.
Then they get played and then gets misused by these niggas. Then they say, oh, he ran game. He did this to me. When in actuality, you almost enabled him to do this to you.
You know, I saw a video.
So you're not a passive victim.
I saw a video the other day, and I'm not going to call out the person's name, but I agree with what she said. And one of the things she said is that people have to pause sometimes and look at their own role in certain situations. Their role, and even when it comes to women that are in an abusive relationship, what is your part in that abusive relationship as well? Yes, you are a victim. Yes, you had things done to you, but at the same time,
Can you pause for a moment? I think you should give people context because people may not know exactly what you getting into the weeds. I think you should pause and give people context.
Well, you give the context.
No, you get a context.
What context am I giving? Because if you don't know
what's going on with Puffy, they don't. A lot of people may not know what's going on. I'm talking about with the Puffy situation. So for folks who don't know, he was brought up on look up the exact charges, but he been federally indictment on like racketeering charges. What was the other charges?
It was sex trafficking,
and
prostitution.
So anyway,
transporting with intent for prostitution.
So it's almost like the crimes is a pimp. So he's on trial. So far from what we've heard, there's been testimony from a male escort, a driver, and now Cassie. Cassie's testimony has been juicy. The testimony of the male escort, the prostitute, they said male escort, he's a fucking prostitute. It's amazing. When a woman doing it, she's a whole prostitute. When a nigga doing it's an escort. He's a fucking prostitute. So the male fucking prostitute that they rented, this nigga said that they did all types of shit. So they raw dogging the male prostitute. He's taking his nut and she's taking it and rubbing it on Puffy's chest. Puffy's recording all this. So Puffy is what we call a cuckold. So that's coming out. And so that's the context is what we're talking about. So in a lot of the testimony, Cassie, yes, was a willing participant, but then there was some stuff that she said he may have went overboard with, and she was drugged, she was beat. Sometimes she had sex with multiple men at the same time, freak offs for 3-4 days at a time. It was just crazy shit. Just absolutely crazy shit. But that's what I mean by the context. So people have an idea of what the fuck is going on.
Well, you just explained it. Yeah. So there you go. But like I said, if you don't know what's going on with this situation,
they don't. People don't know what's going on.
You really are in the dark. It's been going on for quite a bit. He's been locked up for 8 months.
People don't know who Cassie is. People may not know who Diddy is.
Well, hey.
I'm dead serious.
Well, it is one of the number one trending topics outside of the next topic that we're going into, which is the Pope.
Hold on. We're not even done with the Diddy.
I'm not going anywhere else, but I'm just saying in the last 2 weeks, the two top trending topics has been the Pope.
Well, I'll tell you this with Diddy. I think that, and I know people don't want to hear this, but I think he's going to be found not guilty. I think he's going to beat all the charges because from what I'm hearing, he's a fucked up person. He's got some kinks, some fetishes that's really off the chain. But I don't think that rises to the level of the federal charges that he's being brought up against. And so I think he's a fucked up individual. He's paid this girl his $30 million. Unfortunately, the charges have exceeded the statute of limitations for state prosecution. So maybe that's why they're doing it at the federal level. But I think he's going to walk. I think he's going to walk. Not because I want to see him walk, I think he's going to walk. Based off so far.
I don't think he's going to walk. Even with the testimony that we heard, even with people trying to flip it. And
you want to make a bet?
You can make a bet.
What you want to bet? 25 push-ups.
Well, whatever. 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups. 25 push-ups or sit-ups, either or.
No, I want push-ups.
I don't think he's gonna walk away. I think because this is in addition to just them coming after him for his sexual deviant behavior, things of that nature. I think that is more than that. I think people have been trying to find a way to bring Puffy down, and this is the only way that you can bring him down. So I don't think he's gonna get off. I think if anything, he's gonna have a charge stick. It's gonna be something that's gonna stick. I don't think that he's just gonna walk completely free. Now, after what happened with Bill Cosby, now with what happened with R. Kelly, no, I don't think that he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna walk away. Now, what I think is shocking was coming out. Now I could talk about this, but this is what I think is so shocking about Cassie's testimony and her being cross-examined these last few days is that I think it's hard to believe that even though Puffy may have went overboard with some of their activities, again, I think that people find it hard to believe that there are women who enjoy this type of sexual activity.
Yes,
I think that a lot of people are very just shocked at the fact that Cassie may have liked being fucked by a couple of men. There are women out here that like having multiple male partners at the same time.
And there are guys that watch their women.
There are men who watch their women have sex. There are women who like to be urinated on. There are women who like to have cum on them.
They role play with the BDSM, like they're being
There are women who like to be tied up. There are women who like to be gagged. There are women who like to be beat. Not to the extent that we see in the video, the hallway video, but there are women who like to get paddled. And there are so many kinks and fetishes in the sexual world that people don't understand because they're not into it. They don't want to open their minds to it. And there was a whole nother world out here.
And that's what people are being
outside
exposed
of the normal missionary
the full positions and positions.
Yes, I can't get it out. Cowgirl, missionary, doggy style. There's more to sex than those three positions and those three activities. And people like that type of shit. And people like going on excursions for days and being in sex houses for days and cutting the world off. And it's totally
So that's what's happening is that people Puffy is exposing this underground lifestyle that's going on.
With Hollywood, with celebrities, with people who y'all look at, who y'all think. And I don't know why.
And it's not just celebrities, regular people. Come on.
There's a whole nother world where what Cassie did and has done in a sexual context is completely normal in some people's world, and people find it hard to believe. Yes, y'all probably walk past so many women and men that y'all wouldn't even know if you knew what their sexual preferences and things like that was. You would look at them totally different. So we're
talking about all types of people.
All type of people.
It's not just one.
One last question though. Two last questions before we move on. Two last questions. One. Why do you think his last girlfriend that he had, Carisha from City Girls, why do you think she's so quiet? And then B, do you think there's any possibility that Cassie initially went after Diddy because maybe the husband had something to do, like put that thought in her head, like, baby, you need to go out there and fight Diddy and do this, and that's how we came
The first
up.
question. This nigga is in a federal trial. Everybody gonna get low with this. Don't nobody want to be called as a witness.
She like getting peed on.
So she exposed some of the kinks and fetishes that they were into.
Right.
Some of the
before he got locked up.
Yeah. So that's why some of this stuff is not shocking. And once again, the things that he did with her are completely different than with Cassie, but similar. And so some of the shit that he could pull with Cassie, he can't pull with no other woman.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. And he did that wrong now. Once again, is that a pattern of behavior of multiple women? The other interesting thing is that it's all these male prostitutes. Where's all the female prostitutes? I'm looking for the things where they had 8 women at one time. They got 8 niggas at one time. They into some wild different shit.
We don't say weird. We don't say weird. We don't judge.
They just into some different shit.
Wow work.
Yeah, I'm just worried like, damn, they ain't nobody got no women. It's all dudes. It's all dudes. So because it's all she. So Cassie clearly was not bisexual.
I mean, it may have been some women in the mix.
From based off this term testimony, it's all niggas. She was gang banged by niggas, and she liked it to the point her throat and mouth was hurting.
Man, shut up. So what about her?
She's the throat goat.
What about her husband sending her?
So you make a great point, Boss Lady. So this is like almost some old school pimp shit. So now she got a new pimp. Y'all niggas seen, what was my movie Casino? where Rothstein was marrying one girl and her old pimp sent her to marry the nigga so she can get the money. And so it's no, hey, all I know, the white boy could have sent her to get the money from the nigga. She already got the 30 mil. They didn't know the trial shit was gonna happen, but they got the 30 mil.
I'm not even throwing this out as a theory. I'm just saying, I just think from all
they say the nigga, well, they don't say, they proved it. He was being FaceTime when she was getting banged by Puffy. Literally. She's getting fucked and she's FaceTiming this nigga when he was her boyfriend. So who knows what's going on? Who knows that it was a polyamorous thing and it went left?
Hey, we will never know. Even with the testimony, you still don't know what's real. You still don't know what people going up there swearing and then saying. Yeah. So only people who know are the people who were there. So, but it's juicy and it's gonna.
I just feel for his kids and family because they didn't know all.
Yeah, they said some of his kids walked out.
Because people's sexuality is very private, and they hearing shit about
like
their
our
dead.
Kids don't know what we do.
Yeah, they hearing about their dead that they just like, wow, this nigga is off the chain.
Like we knew our dad was off the chain, but like this is off the chain, off the chain.
Yeah, you like, taking niggas semen and rubbing it on your chest, bro.
Like, I don't know what that is with taking the jizz and rubbing it in your chest.
I ain't making this up, y'all. This ain't allegedly.
Yeah.
This is what happened, man. Niggas is off the chain.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, Diddy, we gonna keep following. We gonna pray for whatever.
I ain't praying for shit.
Yeah, it is what it is. Dang. On to our next topic. So, within the last 2 weeks, we have a new pope, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm just gonna start right off. Is he black?
Pope Leo, ain't it?
Yeah, Leo the 14th.
Yeah, that nigga black. That nigga black as fuck.
Is he black?
That nigga is black. Been passing as white. We verified it here at the Lust Podcast. This is not allegedly. We're basing this on facts. So let me read this. I want to make sure I get this right. Okay. The Pope is black, been passing as white. The nigga is from the south side of Chicago. Hold on. We know this because this woman, the boss lady, is from the south side of Chicago, by way of Charleston, Mississippi, but grew up on the south side of Chicago. We know all about it. This nigga was born in Mercy Hospital. If you know anything about Mercy Hospital in Bonneville, only niggas was born there. So let's start off with that fact. All right, niggas. All right. So his father was of Italian and French descent. His mother was the daughter of Louisiana Creole parents, Joseph Martinez from Haiti. Last time I checked, that's the blackest motherfucking country in the Western Hemisphere. And Louise Bequique from New Orleans, who are of African, French, and Spanish descent. Martinez was of mixed Afro-Haitian descent, and Bequique was of mixed race Black Creole. Last time I checked, there was some niggas. And we seen the pictures. We seen the pictures of his grandparents. The boss lady did her own research, and she could not find out one picture of his mom and dad. They have went and scrubbed the whole motherfucking internet, y'all, to prove that this nigga is white.
The day of the announcement. When it was announced.
Yeah.
People started looking, and you could find pictures. Now, I do have a question because it literally took like 3 to 4 whole days after he became pope before the media even exposed these.
Only ABC News too, by the way.
And it was ABC News that I saw at first, where I was like, oh, someone's finally saying something about these Southern Creole Haitian roots that nobody is talking about.
When you look at him, you can tell he's different. Exactly. He ain't a white boy.
I have a question. Do you think the other Cardinals and all that voted for him knew of his background?
Let me tell you this.
Because do they get background
checks? The Catholic, when you think, she gonna ask, do they get background checks? This nigga has been vetted before he was vetted. They know everything about this nigga, man. So they knew. So they knew. Okay. And the Catholic Church, that means that everything that they standing on right now is standing on a lie. Ooh, yeah, we heard it from the motherfucking Lust Bar. They're standing on lies, y'all.
Ooh, so time out. Are you saying Catholicism is on lies?
I said that the Catholic Church is standing on a bold-faced motherfucking lie. Y'all heard it right here. They standing on a lie. If they not gonna come out and say that boy at the least is of mixed race with African.
Biracial?
If they don't say that at the minimum, they lying because the fact says that his grandparents are parents of this.
Okay.
So what the fuck?
Okay.
He's immaculate conception now?
No, I just think it was funny that it took the media so long to even bring it up.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. The day that they made the announcement, all they kept showing was his brothers. And we kept saying how they keep showing the brothers, but they never showing the mom or the father, like, or the grandparents.
Or his aunties.
Or the aunties.
Because you're going to see some black niggas up in there. You're going to see some niggas in there.
It was just like...
You're going to see some niggas in there. You saw them aunties and them uncles from Louisiana.
So I was just like, okay, I'm not understanding this. And then when you start doing all the searches, you could not find anything on the parents. Like, nothing. I've never seen that. Even
and it's not and he was born in modern times. He was born in the
55.
In the
He was born in 1955.
So it wasn't like this nigga was born when they didn't fucking have paper or
so
a
they
TV
got a picture somewhere.
Yeah, they do.
Of the parents. But we just, that's crazy. Ain't that crazy? That's just deep when you think about it. Now, this is what I heard. I heard that he will advocate for things like DEI.
Hold on. He named himself after the Pope.
Yep.
That ended
slavery.
Slavery for the Catholic Church.
Yes.
The practice. So that was a giveaway.
So do you see this? Because this is something I said.
Yeah.
Do you see a Pope versus Trump type thing that's going to end up happening?
Nah, he ain't going to fuck with that. That's religion.
You know what I'm saying?
He ain't going to touch that.
Okay.
People ain't going to touch that.
Okay.
No, they ain't going to touch that. Pope ain't going to.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think this Pope will be better than the last Pope with what you know about his history and things of that nature? That he was in Peru for 20 years and he was an advocate of different things. Do you think that...
Man, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not know nothing about the Catholic Church when it comes to that. All I know, they got a sullied history of not protecting children. They got some other things going on. So I don't know. I wish him luck. I wish him luck.
Okay. Okay.
I wish him luck.
I agree.
One thing I do like about the Catholic Church, they are anti-death penalty. So I do like that.
Okay.
So maybe we'll see here push some DEI initiatives. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I hope so.
But I'm just standing on. It's really hard for me to believe in anything when the first thing you're standing on is standing on bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's hard for me to really trust your word with anything.
Yeah.
When you won't even you standing on bullshit.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to tell you this. When I first saw him, I did say, "Oh wow, he looks a little different."
As soon as we say that.
I'm not gonna lie.
And this is the other thing before we move on, y'all. And the reason why we say the Pope is black, and y'all, people may not know this, but I was a professor of sociology, specialization African American studies, and there's this thing, and I'm being serious now. It's called the one drop rule. And based off that rule, if you had one, and this is a rule, if you had one drop of black blood, you were considered black in this country. I don't give a fuck how far down the line, if you had one drop of black blood, and then not only that, the lineage followed the mother. And in this situation, the mother is black, therefore, he's black. I'm just saying.
Okay.
One drop rule.
Okay. One drop rule.
That nigga black.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call him a nigga from now on. That nigga, the nigga Pope. My nigga. Instead of Pope, my nigga.
I don't know if a lot of people don't like that, but
and where I'm from, my nigga is a term of endearment.
It is.
Yeah,
but I don't think people gonna reference the Pope as my nigga, so
Jesus was a man of the people. My nigga.
Well, y'all, last part of this, and you know what, we just gonna say it. So last couple of weeks we got to see the movie Sinners.
Pause before you get into it.
Okay.
I just want to say this. If you have not seen the movie, you may want to turn off now.
Oh yeah.
Because we're gonna get spoiler alert. We're gonna get spoiler alert.
Disclaimer.
So you should, if you niggas ain't paid for the movie or seen it for free off a free app, y'all niggas late. Go see the movie, man. It's good.
It's
all right,
good.
Go ahead, boss. I apologize.
No, you're straight. I'm glad you said that because I forgot about that to give people a disclaimer and walk away. So we saw this movie. And one of the things that we did before we went and saw it was we made sure that we did not pay attention to any type of breakdown of the movie, any type of plot reviews, anything that told what the movie could possibly be avoided. Because we wanted to see the movie for ourselves. And I ain't gonna lie, it was a dope movie. And I'm not just saying this because the majority of people said that. I'm not just saying that because I'm black. I'm not just saying that because you saw black actors and actresses and a director and producer. No, the movie was freaking good. And I'm just going to jump into it. The very first scene, Very first scene in that movie when we start off with that church, that was very powerful. And D.O.C., for you, what is that connection with black churches and black people? What is that connection of the black church being a sanctuary for black people? Where that come from, and how was that impacted in this movie when you first start that off as an opening scene?
I mean, as we all know, without the black church has been the foremost institution of leading the fight for freedom of black people in this country. Whether you want to believe or not believe about the black church, but it's been at the forefront pushing black liberation theology. And typically, that has been the only mechanism or avenue in which it shielded us from white supremacy on a weekly basis.
Yep.
So we knew for a few hours out of the week, we can go around other people like us. We can chill and not have to worry about these motherfucking white folks for a few hours with their bullshit. And it's always been a motherfucking sanctuary. And it's protected us from the evils of whiteness. I'm just keeping it real. And so that was powerful how it started and how it ended.
Yep.
I think that was to have the
beginning at the church and it ended at the church. So I do think I love that connection. Before we even get into that, I just want to pause that technically the whole concept of the setting of the movie was that it was in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Come on now.
Back in 1932, which is also one of the birthplaces of the blues. And for us, both of us, we felt like we had a personal connection because I was actually born in Charleston, Mississippi, which is not that far from Clarksdale, Mississippi.
And my folks are from Vans, Mississippi.
Thank you, which is not that far from Clarksdale, Mississippi. So to even have
literally less than an hour's drive.
It really is. So just to see that was the focal point of to tell the story was just boom, bam. So let's just talk about some of the because I feel like there's so much to talk about. Let's talk about, do we talk about the brothers first? Do we talk about the movie connections first? Let's talk about the movie connections because there was a lot of references to stuff then. So I want to start off with the juke joint. This whole concept of everything going into the juke joint and what that represents now. Because I still think we see juke joints now, just people don't even realize they juke joints.
Yeah, we go to the
what is that connection?
The juke. That's the amazing thing is that people don't even see the historical connection. That once again, this has been a place of sanctuary where we can come and express ourselves culturally, our music. We don't have to conform to or assimilate. These are our own creations, whether it be blues, whether it be jazz, whether it be R&B and soul, or whether it be rap music. The same thing, people dancing, women having a good time, a nigga in the back frying up 6 wings with lemon pepper. It's the same thing that was going on in 1932 that's going on right now. So, so that was beautiful to see that connection, to see the connection with the music, how blues and how all of that is all intertwined and interconnection. Blues is nothing. Rap music is nothing but a derivative of blues.
Pause. Yes, so people don't even realize that clubs now still represent what juke joints meant back in the day.
Yeah.
Another movie connection, guitars. It was something real significant about the dude who had the guitar and the significance of guitars in blues and even the creation of guitars. Because I was told that guitars are made by Africans. And that before the Africans even created guitars, there was nobody was playing guitars and stuff. So that was a deep connection. Even with the music, showing how the blues is connected to so many other genres. From African traditions
to rap
to
to soul to jazz,
bebox,
all that to different. In the movie, the Irish tradition, all of that is derivative of African traditions.
Yes,
all of that.
What about the reference to hoodoo? The use of hoodoo.
Yes. So for me, that was really personal because I believe my grandmother, my great-grandmother, not my grandmother, but my great-grandmother, Gerda Bell, she was a practitioner of that. And so I was like, damn. So that's exactly what she was doing because she came exactly from that same era. And I'm thinking that people made it seem like she was practicing witchcraft, but in actuality, she was practicing African rituals and things that had been retained or what have you.
To protect black people.
Yeah.
Not for evil, but actually for protection.
Yeah.
What about the other movie connection and reference of having the whole Asian people in the black neighborhood? They had 2 stores in the black neighborhood.
A lot of people don't realize that there was a significant amount of Asians that were brought to the United States in the late 1880s to build the railroads. They were literally imported labor. You know, they talk about this shit now. They don't want labor, but they had to import Asians into the country to build the railroads. And there are some places where they just stayed and settled. One of them was in Mississippi. That's why if you go look at some of the cities in Mississippi, they have Asian names. There's a few. And so I wasn't surprised by that too.
But a lot of people were surprised that they had Asians.
But there was I wouldn't say large, but a significant presence in those areas. A lot of people don't realize that. Yep. One thing though I hate the movie did, since we talk about the different groups, I wish they really would have, or maybe it was intentional, talk about the role of the connection with Native Americans. The Choctaw.
Because they only brought that up a little bit.
Just a little bit.
When he warned them of what was going on.
And maybe the reason why is because maybe this was a relationship that I think we've always fantasized that it was closer than what it actually was.
And it really wasn't.
It really wasn't.
It really wasn't. But I do wish they could have expanded on that just a little bit more. And since they did touch on
because they was letting folks know that the motherfucking vampires was here.
Coming,
and it was
evil coming.
Down.
It was evil coming. Don't let this motherfucker in your house. And listen to us. We know this shit. Like when that
was the other thing too. You talking about letting somebody in your house. I always say this, and this brings us to modern day. Vampires are not whether you believe that or not. That was a good lesson. Is that be careful on who you invite into your house. That was fucking key because you have to invite them, and if they come in and they create chaos, you invite them in.
And you know what?
And you had every reason to keep them.
Talking about this,
that's a lesson.
The symbolism of vampires, because you may have friends right now that you always letting in your house,
and they bloodsuckers.
Always motherfucking drama and energy sucking. You wonder why when they leave your house you feel a certain type of way, or when you're not around them you feel a certain type of way, because they are literally sucking the life out of you. So, hey, be careful who you invite, not let. Invite in your house. What about the connection of colorism and shadism? Because one of the things that I noticed is that two brothers, both twins, and we're going to talk about them in a second, but two brothers, but one had this thing for this little light-skinned girl, one had a thing for a dark-skinned girl, and it was just totally different how each one of them were perceived different because of the... That's
the thing. Identical twins, are very similar in a lot of things, but in a lot of things, they're different. My mom is a twin.
Yeah.
We have 4 sets of twins in my family.
And everybody act different.
So... And that's the thing, they twins, but they all got their own separate personalities. It's just really crazy. And in this situation, she wasn't light-skinned. She was white. She was black. And that's an example. She was actually a black woman passing as white.
Yeah. And that happens a lot now.
Yeah.
A lot
so
more
that's the
now.
Reason why the shit with the Pope is real.
Yes.
This was in 1932. And you telling me in 2025 it's not happening?
You still got white. You still got that happening.
Yeah.
But then y'all even notice this, the reference with the light-skinned girl, because remember, it was the light-skinned girl who they sent to go talk to the vampires to find out what they were doing, just as well as the vampires sent the light-skinned girl back to start the killing.
They always have those agents, those provocateurs who come in and are able to infiltrate.
So what people don't even want to think about is now they got light-skinned women looking like they're evil. Their brands are evil.
Yeah.
Because the way that they were utilizing this movie. If they don't let the light-skinned girl come back in, you don't have all the havoc that started from when she busted in and she killed one of the brothers. So, to me, symbolism is really big in movies. And to me, I felt like the light-skinned chick symbolized something evil. Y'all men be going crazy over these light-skinned chicks. And to some point, it was like that symbolized evil to a certain extent. I'm definitely not saying light-skinned women, because I got beautiful women I love that are light-skinned. I love it. But that was just crazy that the director...
You ain't super dark either.
You know what? But, yes, I loved it. Last thing I want to talk about, the brothers. Because these dudes were... People don't realize that these dudes were military trained. They were killers. They worked for Capone. They had this Chicago, Mississippi connection that a lot of black men have. Veterans. Yes. They came back home. But the biggest thing, you said the biggest thing that you noticed was that they had all that money and they still died. Like nothing still protected them.
So no matter what, the money, you have all this money as a black man, a black woman in America, and it still doesn't shield you from white supremacy. Still don't shield you
from nothing.
Hence, Puff Daddy.
Go back to
so all this shirt is
all
full
the money
circle.
You can have don't protect you. Bill Cosby, all the money don't protect you. R. Kelly, all the money don't protect you. But this is the other thing. the fact that he used vampires as symbolic to society today and how certain cultures suck the life out of black people and black cultures, and I'm not even making this a racial thing, but you cannot avoid the racial undertones that was in this movie.
But despite all of that, and it came full circle at the end, and it showed Buddy Guy, that despite all that, we still have been a resilient people and have been able to survive that.
Yes. And that's a beautiful thing. The key thing about that. Last two questions I want to ask before we wrap this up. What was the best scene for you? What was the best scene? I don't really think there was a worse scene, but what was the best scene for you?
Me, personally, people think it was the music scene, the dance scene, with all of they showed all of the connections with all of the music. But for me, it was at the end when he had the motherfucking Tommy gun and he shot all the Klansmen.
You know what? I'm almost have to agree with you.
That was my scene.
Because if you peep,
I actually got ready to purchase the movie poster with him with the Tommy gun shooting all those.
Because that dude was setting them up from the beginning anyway when he sold them that property. So if you peep that out,
so no matter what, you going into business with white folks and it looks legit. There's still some
because he was a Klansman posing as a real estate guy, knowing what he was up to,
hardcore racist,
knowing he was up to.
Not only he was the Grand Imperial Wizard, he was the head of it.
He was the head of it. Last question. Do you think vampires really exist?
Yeah. I mean, if you believe in demons, if you believe that God exists, then you have to believe the opposite exists. You can't.
I do.
So, yes.
I believe vampires exist. I believe witches exist.
And demonic spirits.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a boy who claimed he had sex with a witch, and she put a hex on him for like 6 months. It was crazy. Niggas having sex. I like, man, I don't know what that witch pussy like, but
women are that bad that they can be called witches.
Niggas said, man, he fucking around. He said he knew the bitch was a witch, and he wanted to see what the witch pussy do. And he hate that he fucked with the witch pussy.
If I knowingly know somebody is a witch or something, I'm not fucking with
because he wanted to play with it and see if the shit was gonna be real. And he said the bitch really had him like in a trance for like 6 months.
No, that's like I'm even cautious with people who still do hoodoo and stuff. You have to be cautious with even that. That shit is real. Exactly. People think them all that, and see people like, oh, it's voodoo. No, it's hoodoo. You gotta. We got checked on that. Yeah, we got checked on that by a Creole person who said they don't call that shit voodoo.
Yeah, it's hoodoo.
It's not. So with that being said, wrapping up this special edition episode. But before we go, Season 5 popping off. This is like a prequel to all that. So excited about it.
Yeah, we had to get in front of some shit.
Yeah, we did. We was like, we can't wait this long. Yes, we did. So see y'all in a bit with the real start of Season 5. But enjoy this special edition show in the meantime. Peace out.